We have the winner of Game 1 with Coach McCaffrey joining us, as well as Jordan Bohannon and Luca Garza. I understand, Coach, you're passing on your opening statement. So we'll take questions for the players first. Please direct your question to the player that you're asking it and not ask a general question. Who has the first question? Go ahead.
David Jones from Penn Live for Luca. When you guys were down 11 fairly late in the first half, I think it was, what did you think was the feeling of your team, and was there anything you wanted to accomplish personally to get your guys in a different mindset? Because you ended up in a different mindset.
Yeah, I mean, I think the timeouts at that stretch when it was 18-5, I think those were key. You know, everyone was communicating, and it was just a great feeling. The timeout. We knew a couple shots we missed. You know, we missed some chippies around the rim, and you know, we needed to get back and get some stops and rebound. You know, they started to get too many offensive rebounds. So I think, as a group, you know, individually, I wanted to get inside and post up more and post deeper. I thought in the beginning, you know, some of those guys were pushing me out of the spots I wanted to get to. And I think I did a better job of that through the course of the game, trying to get deeper, because it's easy for them to, you know, come double or come poke me when I'm posting up the 17 feet away. So I try to do a better job in that, and I think as a collective group, we all try to focus in and string together some stops. I don't know what to stop.
Would both of you guys care to discuss the impact your zone had on them?
Start with Jordan, please.
Yeah, I think we did a good job of just kind of getting them a little hesitant. They're a really well-coached team. They run a really deliberate offense, and we knew that coming in. And we started out man, started the game, and they got a couple easy baskets, so we changed it up a little bit. I thought our press was really great tonight. They didn't know when to go or when not to go, so I thought we did a really good job just changing the pace of the game and control the tempo, especially in the second half.
I thought we were communicating. You know, they got some terrific shooters in Jennifer and Cumberland. And they were trying to run Jennifer to the corners and try to get him some open looks. And I think, you know, he hit a couple early where he was wide open. And so we tried to key in on that, and I think we did a great job just moving around, trying to, you know, make those shots tough for him.
As for either of the players, what did you guys do to regroup after the tough stretch to end the regular season?
We just worked really hard. It wasn't a lot of fun going in that stretch. You know, we played really well at the beginning of the season, middle of the season, and but that's life in the Big Ten. That's why we got 8 teams in the NCAA tournament. I don't think we've lost a game yet in the NCAA tournament as well. So that shows a lot how powerful and strong this conference was. So a lot of it was just playing really good teams, and we knew that, and that prepared us to get ready for this NCAA tournament.
Yeah, we just needed to stay confident with each other. We know what we're capable of, and you know, we keep saying that, but it's true. You know, we know what we can do when we play at our best, and you know, it's great to see tonight. You know, even when they got up, you know, we stayed composed and were able to get to play better.
Mark.
Mark Herman from Newsday in New York. Jordan, I'd like to ask you, what is it like for you guys to lean on Luca in those tough situations?
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to. I mean, he's came up big in a lot of games this year, so he was really dominant down low tonight, or this morning, I guess, and we knew if we fed him the ball down low, he was either going to get an easy basket, draw a foul, or kick it out, and I thought he did a really good job of all those 3 things when he did end up getting the ball.
Any other questions for our players? All right, you guys can actually go get something to drink and eat now. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Eat some goldfish. Nice work. Any questions now for Coach McCaffrey? Mike?
I'm Michael Presti, NCAA.com fan. You point for the tournament, you look up, and it's 18-5. What do you say to him at that point?
Well, I think the most simple approach is the most logical one. There was 35 minutes to go, so no time to panic. It could easily have been we were up, and we have to keep playing well. So we made some adjustments. We changed the defense. You change some personnel a little bit. You start pushing some different buttons. But I think the critical thing is that the players maintain confidence. You know, you don't start screaming and yelling at them, blaming them because they didn't rotate and block out. We talked about block out. They had 9 offensive rebounds in the first half for 11 points. You know, if I'm spazzing and yelling at everybody for that, they're not going to lock into what we need to do on offense. What defense are we in? Who's on the floor for them? Where's Cumberland? Who do we need to get the ball to? So you just try to stay very businesslike. At that point, plenty of time. We're going to continue to do what we do. Maybe call a different offensive set or alignment. Give them a little bit of a different look, because when you're matching up, this is what they do so well. They're pretty good at it. So if you stand and you kind of run similar action, they're going to lock you up. So you got to have more ball movement, more people movement, more movement with a purpose to get better shots. And then, you know, we just needed to see it go in a little bit there. Thankfully, Isaiah made 2 early because we really were struggling. That was the 5 that you're talking about. But eventually, you know, Luka got going. I put TC back in after he had 2 fouls. He made a couple buckets, and Joe got a big one. We just sort of settled down. Then you felt like, okay, we can attack this thing successfully.
Doc?
Coach, did you play a lot of zone this year? And
We did.
Okay. Why in your mind did it work so well today?
Well, sometimes you play zone because you think a zone will work against a particular team. Sometimes you play zone to change up what wasn't working. Our man wasn't working. We felt like we could mix our pressure, 3-quarter court, we played a couple different ways, and then our half-court zones, which we play a couple different ways. So that would, at the very minimum, keep them in front of us so we can see where they are. You're not guarding as much action. You know, you can sort of surround a painted area on a missed shot, and I think it helps you rebound. Some coaches would argue that it doesn't help you rebound. You know, I think it does. It keeps everybody there, and it put more pressure on them to shoot threes. You know, they're a team that's pretty good at it, but you know, tonight they were 6 for 27.
Michael Beller, Sports Illustrated. How much time do you spend this week coming into today talking about that it might feel a little bit like a true road game being so close to Cincinnati?
Truthfully, not very much. The thing about NCAA tournament play, there's other teams represented here today that don't care who wins this game. So the Tennessee people, the Colgate people, they don't care. I knew the Hawk fans would be doing the "Let's Go Hawks" cheer. Knew there'd be more Cincinnati people, but it's an NCAA game. You know, I didn't feel like in any way, shape, or form it was a road game to me. You know, I mean, I coached in '09. We played Ohio State and Dayton, and I remember like it was yesterday. And everybody from Louisville was rooting for Siena. You know, so it's a different kind of deal. Our guys were locked in. You know, every game in our league is a big stage. It's national TV. It's an NBA arena, and we're used to being on the road. We just played at the United Center. So, you know, the critical thing is to know and understand what do we have to do to beat Cincinnati? What do they do well? What can we take away? What can we do to exploit them? And not worry about who's in the 15th row yelling for one team or another.
Mark?
You never know how a freshman is going to respond. What is it about Wieskamp that made him be able to be so poised?
Well, you know, the thing that was impressive, I think, about him today was it didn't start real well for him. You know, a lot of times when that happens, guys struggle for 40 minutes. He has always done a really good job of figuring out, okay, what are they doing to me? What are they doing to us? What can I do that's different than what I've been doing? He's a very cerebral guy in that sense. And I think as the game progressed, you saw him become more confident in what he was doing at both ends. You know, he gets 19 points, it's a huge 3, but, you know, huge shot block at a very critical situation. I mean, he's just a guy that does a lot of things to help us win. And you can count on him to make those kinds of decisions in his head and not be a mistake guy.
Mike?
not that the NCAA tournament always correctly reflects a league's strength, but what does it say about the Big Ten that you're 6-0 so far in this tournament?
Well, we've been saying all year long that it's the most competitive league in the country, top to bottom. And you sort of expect Big Ten coaches to make those kinds of statements, But the reality is, we actually believe that. And so I think it's proving it.
Fran, what you said before about keeping your poise on, you're a hot-blooded guy, you're a Philly kind of guy, and
At times.
was there a point in your career where you learned how valuable it was to keep your poise under those kinds of circumstances, in 18-5, that kind of thing?
Very definitely. One of my mentors, John McLeod, he was the best at that. And he would always say, when it gets sticky, you can't yell at him. That's what he would say. So, when you see me get hot-blooded, there are various reasons for that, and it happens, despite what some people might think, very rarely. It doesn't happen very much in practice. It doesn't happen much in the locker room. At halftime, I bet coach went in there and yelled at him. No. But at crunch time and in key moments of the game, you can't lose your mind and start yelling at them. It's only going to lead to more mistakes. At that point, you need to build confidence.
3 big scores in the second half, Coach, off of underneath out of bounds. 2 of them came out of a timeout, a Garza 3, a Bear 3, and then you had a Garza layup. Those go-to sets for you guys underneath out of bounds, or is that something that came out of the timeouts?
They're go-to sets for us, but the difference is, you can run certain action, but then you can move people around in that action, so it might look different. So we ran a typical action, but we moved people around. And that's how Luka got the 3 in particular. He's not usually in that spot, usually a guard or a perimeter guy.
Thank you, Coach McCaffrey.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Cincinnati